Third period class. Hey. Okay. All right. We're going to do our lesson video for multiplying. There we go. Multiplying monomials, which is one term. So you can write this down. And all you're going to do is multiply the 6 times the 3, which gives you 18. Y to the 5 and 3 is 8. Now that's reviewing what we just finished. Okay, so 9 times 3, 27. M to the third, n to the third. When you multiply coefficients and you add exponents. Number 3, this looks like fun. All right, so we're going to multiply coefficients. So I'm going to multiply 1/4. Oh, darn. I'm going to multiply 1/4 by -12, which is -3. 4 goes into 12, -3. Look at the s's. I see s to the second plus 1 is 3, plus another 1 is 4. And t to the fifth, because 2, 1, and 2. Any problems? All right, number 4. Number 4. Now this one looks a little bit different. Now we have not 2 monomials multiplied by each other, but what's this one little guy out here called? Monomial times a binomial. Binomial. So I'm going to multiply this times this, which is going to give me 12p squared q. So I added the p's together and I just put the q to the side. Minus, now I have to distribute to the second one, 6pq squared. That's the end of that. You probably already know how to do that. Okay, now we're going to go to number 5. Number 5, pause and write it down. All right, go. Number 5. So we're going to distribute. When I distribute, that means, hold on. When I distribute, I have to do 1/2 multiplied by 6, which is 3. I have to add the x exponents, which is also 3. And then add the y exponents, which is 2. So remember, it's multiply coefficients, add exponents. Half of 8 is 4. X to the fourth, y third. Okay, number 6. Okay, this is the new part. I don't know if you've seen this before. We're going to do the same problem 2 ways. FOIL. FOIL stands for first, outside, inside, and last. Okay, so let's go through this problem piece by piece. Okay, here's our problem. Write this down. X plus 3 times x plus 2. This is a binomial times a binomial. So we're going to multiply the first term. So it's x times x, which is x squared. Okay, the O stands for, that was the F. The O stands for outside or outer terms. Probably so. So then I have to multiply this x times the 2, which gives me what? 2x. And that is called the O. The third thing we have to do is multiply the inner terms, which is these 2 little inside guys. 3 times x is 3x. Okay, and the L stands for last, and we have to multiply 3 times 2, which is 6. So our answer looks like this so far. X squared plus 5x plus 6. Where did I get 5? 2x and 3x gives me 5x. Okay, now we're going to do the same problem in a different method. This is called the box. Oh, whoops. There was my answer. Whoops, isn't that pretty? Okay. So now we're going to do a binomial. We're going to do distributive property first. Sorry about that. Okay, so here's how we're going to do distributive property. We're going to take this x, same problem, x plus 3, x plus 2. We're going to take this x and multiply it by the x here and the 2. So let me show you what that looks like. So we're going to do x times x plus 2, and then we're going to do 3 times x plus 2. So see this here? I'm going to take the x and multiply it by x plus 2. Then I'm going to take the 3 and multiply it by x plus 2. So x times x is x squared. X times 2, 2x. 3 times x, 3x. 3 times 2 is 6. Do you see how it gave me the exact same thing? It just matters how you like to look at it. Sometimes I call this double distribute. This is double distribute because you're distributing twice. Final answer, x squared plus 5x plus 6. All right, next one, I'm going to do the box method. Okay, here I'm going to do the box method. But guess what? It's going to be the same thing. So it's s plus 4 times s minus 2. Draw a box. This is often taught in the lower level math, but we're going to keep using this to get us to the upper level as well. Down the side, I'm going to put s plus 4. Yes, it's very much like a Punnett square. Very much. And then across the top, s minus 2. S times s is s squared. S times negative 2 is negative 2s. You see what I'm doing? 4 times s is 4s, and 4 times 2 is negative 8. Now in this little box, these two will most of the time be able to put together, as long as they're the same and have like terms. So I have s squared plus, how many s's? 2s minus 8. Okay, so now we have x minus 4 squared. Well, what does that mean? How many x minus 4s do I have? 2 of them. So I have x minus 4 times x minus 4. Who got the highest grade on the last test? Chaz, what is your choice of method?
Neither.
Double distribute. Okay, so if you would rather do a different method, you can. Pick one of the three. He likes to double distribute, so I'm going to take the x times the x. That is x squared. Then x times negative 4 minus 4x. And then negative 4 times x is another minus 4x. Do you see why we have two of the same thing? And then negative 4 times negative 4 is 16. So that's x squared minus 8x plus 16, final answer. Okay, you'll notice that I skipped 10. I did that on purpose. Now we're going to do number 11. Now this looks really confusing, but it's not. It says find the area, and area means to do what? Multiply. So I have to multiply these two things. Now, do you see how this is a trinomial multiplied by a binomial? The best way to do this is in a box. I am a math teacher. My name is Miss Winship, and I like the box on this problem. So I'm going to put 5x plus 3 going down, and I'm going to put 2x squared plus 10x minus 6 going across the top. 5x times 2x squared is 10x to the third. 5x times 10x, 50x squared. 5x times negative 6 is negative 30x. Okay, next we have to do the second row. So 3 times 2 is 6 by x squared. 3 times 10x is 30x, and 3 times negative 6 is negative 18. Then I need to add my diagonals as long as they have like terms. So I'm going to start with a 10x to the third. 50x squared and 6x squared is 56x squared. And the negative 30 and positive 30 cancel, and the last final term is minus 18. Okay, so now we're going to multiply this. We're going to take the x minus 5, put it going down the side. You ever seen a Punnett square?
Yes.
This is going to look much like a Punnett square. So we're going to make this kind of a long box. And across the top, I'm going to put x squared plus 4x minus 6. Wherever you see addition or minus signs, just draw a line. So I have 2 lines going up and down and 1 line going across. Okay, then we're going to multiply x times x squared. What does that give me? X to the third. We just had a test over this. You add the exponents when you multiply. X times 4x is 4x squared. This is why you had to have a test on that, to make sure you know what you were doing. And there's an easy one. X times negative 6. Negative 6x. Now we're going to multiply everything by negative 5. Negative 5 times x squared is negative 5x squared. Negative 5 times 4x is negative 20x. And negative 5 times negative 6 is 30. Now, usually when you do this, your diagonals can be added together as long as they have the same exponents. So negative 5 and negative 4, those are both x squares, and these are also both x's. Okay, so you're going to start your answer with this first term right here, x to the third. Now remember, when you are adding polynomials or monomials, you don't add the exponents, right? You add the coefficient. So I have negative 5 and positive 4. What does that give me? Minus 1x squared. Don't change the x squares. Okay, and then negative 20x and negative 6x is minus 26x. And then what goes on the very end? The 30. You should be writing this down right now. Plus 30, because we have this 30 here. Okay, let's look at the next one. Write it down. Pause. Make sure you got this part right. 3x times x to the third is 3x to the fourth. 4 times 3 is 12x to the third. 3 times negative 7 is negative 21x. Next line. Oh, this is easy. 1 times everything. X to the third. 4x squared minus 7. Usually the diagonals can be put together, but beware. You can't put those together, can you? So beware. Sometimes you can't. This is a positive. Okay, so I'm going to start with that one. 3x squared. My second terms is going to be how many x cubed?
No, in the trinomial.
In the trinomial. Oh, right here. That's not my fault, but that was the book, so we need to put that in there, don't we? So how many x cubes do we have? Minus 11. So 1x cubed take away 12 is minus 11. Okay, what comes next? The x or the x squared? The x squared, so minus 4x squared. Uh-oh, this up here is a 4. Who did that? Oh, Sam. All right. And then what comes after the negative 4x squared? Minus 21x. And at the very, 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 very end is minus 7. Okay, so now let's name it. That fourth power means that it's going to be a what? Quadratic or quartic? Quartic. How many terms? 5 terms. What do we call 5 terms? Polynomial. All right, that's the end.